Hi, everyone. I am Marina Parenti. Thank you for listening. I'll tell you that at the end, too. So this is a presentation on contrasting freedom and liberty going off of our lecture we had prior and the big thinkers there, and I'll be using them in this regard. We'll look at the Magna Carta in the medieval era, and then Milton's Areopagitica, our key documents. And then classical thinker Aristotle, I had Cicero in there, but he had to go because this was too long. And then we have John Locke, who provides a modern lens. Looking towards Aristotle's concept of freedom, and I've really truncated these and simplified them as much as possible to make them easy to understand because this is pretty heavy material. So just listen to this. So Aristotle, he ties freedom to self-sufficiency and virtue in politics. So the two must go together. Obviously, that's not true today. And then true freedom, rationally governing life, choosing for fulfillment, if possible. And then property ownership, it's about an essential component for stability and flourishing, which is in direct opposition to homelessness, although some people choose that. So it's a concept of freedom rooted in property ownership, which will vary with Locke. Then we go on to Milton's Areopagitica. Happens in 1644, and Milton will defend it. It's as unlicensed printing as key to expression. So if that doesn't make sense to you, I'll give you an example of that shortly. And he stresses the marketplace of ideas, where there could be free discussion that drives truth and enlightenment, and that'll lead to the salons that we have in Paris, and that intellectual freedom is vital for a healthy society. The document encourages critical thinking and dissent without censorship. Here's an example of all of this I'm talking about. In 2011, Egyptian activists, they used Twitter, now X, to share uncensored ideas, which sparked the Arab Spring and challenged Mubarak's regime. So it's a great example of what that means for unlicensed printing as key to expression. Right? Who would have thought we would have, back in 1644, we'd be linking that to Twitter. I think that's pretty funny. And then we have Locke's two treatises on liberty, probably more familiar to most people. And, this is related to our Constitution and our thinking from the Enlightenment. It's a natural right from human nature. We all have it, except it didn't go to everybody at first. And then individuals have that right to life, liberty, and, well, we won't say the pursuit of happiness just yet, but government legitimacy requires consent. So these are all documents that we base our government on today. Now, freedom in 2020 during the COVID crisis, pandemic in Germany, right? These are all of our examples here. I do want to go over, in shaping these modern rights and bringing this forward. So back in Germany, when we had COVID, the government had imposed lockdowns to maintain public health. And so there's this idea of an autonomy, order, balance, and it's just sort of this, it sort of hangs in the atmosphere. But what it really happened is when the government imposed these lockdowns for public health order, which, we experienced with COVID as well, closed businesses, mandated masks, that kind of thing, citizens, like in the United States, largely complied. but some protested and they cited their right to personal freedom. And so the courts would balance this by upholding restrictions while allowing peaceful demonstrations. So I hope those are some good examples for you, and thank you for listening.